please call the roll.
Mr. Hupkey.
Here.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mr. March.
Here.
Mr. Bowden.
Here.
Mr. Hack. Mr. Forsythe.
Mr. Hack is on page. Approval or corrections to the minutes of the August 24th, 2015 regular village board meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
I make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, seconded by trustee Jones.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. March.
Yes.
Mr. Bowden.
Yes.
Accounts payable and payroll. Payroll pay period ending 8/29/15 in the total amount of $46,895.86. Accounts payable, general fund, $101,265.22. Water and sewer fund, $40,531.64. And capital improvement fund, $238.89, giving a total of all accounts payable, $142,035.75. Now, one of the bills that's in there is the item that's later on the agenda for Davis Concrete Construction in the amount of $53,117.59. So the motion to accept the bills or pay the bills and the payroll with the understanding that we will be releasing that later on the agenda.
I make a motion, we pay the bills with that understanding.
Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, seconded by trustee Bowden.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Bowden.
Yes.
Mr. March.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Public comment and or questions on any non-agenda item. Reports of the committees, building committee.
We met the other night discussing housing modifications and the BOCA codes, and we're going to set up a time to meet with our code enforcement to discuss the BOCA codes, and with Steve Lynette to discuss modifications in housing, what will and won't be allowed.
Okay. Police chief. Engineers report.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one item that's not on the agenda. I think the Mayor wanted to have a quick open discussion about the detention pond at Ashburn Estates.
Yes.
I think the Mayor was approached by the owner of Ashburn Estates concerning the detention pond and asked if the village would want the owner to deed that over to the village. Presently, that lot, it's a lot 88 in Unit 1. It says it's for detention purposes, but it doesn't have any easements over the lot for the village use. In the past, I'd say 10 to 15 years, it's become more common for municipalities not to maintain detention ponds. Typically, homeowners associations have been taking over detention ponds. 15, 20 years ago, when we were doing these, it was more common for either a park district or Public Works to take care of these ponds. And then as time kind of went on and there were more subdivisions, I think villages started to feel like that wasn't something they wanted to do, and homeowners associations started to do that. Now, in this case, from what I understand, there's not a homeowners association in Ashburn Estates, and the village has been mowing the pond for, I don't know, Bob, do you know how many years?
15 years?
Yeah, probably the whole time.
Yeah.
So our comment to the mayor, Troy had a discussion with the mayor, was we always worry about these situations because you can set a precedent, right? So if you decide to take this one on, there might be others that may want to come back to the village. However, I don't know how many circumstances you have in the village where this become an issue. So I don't know that there's a clear answer to this one because the village has already been maintaining the pond. You don't have easement rights really to do that. You want to have those rights because if the pond ever wasn't functioning, the village needs to be able to go in there and work on the outlet structure if that was clogged up or something. So something probably needs to happen, either an easement needs to come to the village from the owner, or it's just deeded to the village. Is that kind
Yeah,
of summarize
that's
what?
pretty much, yes.
Okay.
So I guess what I was looking for was, kind of thoughts and direction from the trustees.
Why was this brought up to begin with?
We were talking with Ashburton about a reduction in the letter of credit, and they're the ones that brought it up during that discussion.
Who is
I-
the developer?
Pardon me?
Who is the developer?
That's O'Donnell. Yeah, O'Donnell Construction.
And where exactly is this detention
It's
pond?
the grassy area right off, it's behind
It's right off of
Corning, yeah.
Dry area.
It's a
It
dry
goes
pond.
all the way from Corning all the way to
North Street almost, right?
North Street.
Yep.
And
it's
so
just
we've been mowing at our own cost for 15 years.
Would the village ever entertain the idea of continuing North Street all the way through to the high school, like it probably should have been done initially? Because then you could access it right from town as opposed to going out to Corning and coming back around or out on Rathje Road.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the issue was where North Street wasn't, pushed through at that time.
I don't know.
District land.
Could be.
Yeah, it is.
It is the schools.
Yeah.
What committee would this fall under?
I would think, possibly Public Works.
Should we maybe refer it to them and see what they come up with?
That's what I was gonna suggest. I was gonna send it back to a committee, but I just wanted everybody to kind of hear, what was going on with it.
I think that one, since isn't 99% of the time it's dry, right?
Yes.
I mean, that one doesn't bother me so much.
Right.
It's the wet ones that.
But it's just a matter of, do we wanna
Set a
set a precedent?
If we choose not to do it, what's the alternative?
Wait for a homeowners association to be established, and then they would take it. But
Even though the
that,
school, it's on school property?
No, that's.
that's not,
No, it's part
where
of the
North
social-
Street's coming through, I think that may be school property, where North Street would come through.
Okay.
But that's.
No, it's a lot of the subdivision. The owner, that owner owns that lot. The problem with it is, like I said, technically, we shouldn't even be mowing it right now because we don't have any easement rights. But obviously, they want it mowed, so
That's a pretty big chunk of land there, isn't it?
it is, it is.
How long does it take you to mow that on a
Hour.
normal basis?
Hour.
And what do you think you got in there hour-wise per year? Just a rough estimate.
once a week through the summer months, so.
So you figure maybe 40 weeks out of the year you're mowing it?
Yeah.
40 hours?
It looks good.
Well, and we don't want it to look bad.
No.
Because that's, definitely a primary location that a lot of people go by, in the community. So we want to make sure that it's maintained, whether it's us or who, that's the question.
Dr. March's point is well taken, though, in that over the past 10 to 15 years, it seems the majority of the ponds have become wet bottom ponds, and those certainly are a bigger nightmare to take care of than a dry bottom. And there's, kind of more uses for a dry bottom as far as a community and such, but, like I said, that, I don't know that this is a clear-cut, easy decision.
Could there be some type of verbiage put in play through the lawyer where we could specifically look at certain types of?
Yeah, I think the answer is yes, yes.
But I think that would be a function of, as, you're talking about for the future?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it would be a function of, as a new development comes in, we would have to look at it and make that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, if it's per an annexation agreement, we're gonna have that issue covered in an annexation agreement. If it's not an annexation agreement, we normally, we wouldn't be involved. But I'm trying to remember.
You mean for a new development?
Yeah, for a new development.
I mean, we've come so far now that those things kind of come up early in the conversation. When you start talking about development of homeowners associations and covenants and restrictions and all those things, you start to talk about those things now, up front.
Yeah, so I was just making that point because when a new subdivision development comes in and we do an annexation agreement, if it is And even if it's a development agreement on land that's here, we often cover, what's gonna happen with the, they obviously have to provide detention and all that, but we usually have language in there as to whose responsibility that's gonna be.
I think you have a case moving forward, at least to defend what you did, because it was a unique situation and you've been doing it for so long. I was more concerned with were there other situations like this in
Existing,
town that
right.
might come and now say,
Isn't there one on Glenwood, behind Glenwood? Are we, the village cutting that?
No.
No, who does cut that?
Private contractor, I believe. I'm not sure if who owns that lots, or owned the lots, but my understanding is they own the pond. Kind of like Westgate Manor.
But there are no association fees there. Somebody's paying to have it cut.
I don't know who.
There was a time long ago when, in lieu of, like the public use, 10% public use,
Yeah.
when a subdivision was
Yeah.
submitted to us, they were giving us detention ponds, and when we found out what a
Right.
nightmare they were, we stopped that, and that's
That's
when we
exactly
quit
right.
taking
it used to
detention
count towards the
ponds.
open space, that's
Mhm,
right.
mhm.
And we stopped doing
And we
that.
stopped doing that long
Right.
ago.
Right.
And who maintains the one out by the cemetery?
That's the homeowners association.
It is?
Yeah,
Are they maintaining that?
not very well.
Well, I can tell you what I found out late this afternoon. The developer apparently that owned it left and quit paying the taxes. And somebody far up north thought they were buying a vacant lot and bought it for the taxes and found out it was a detention pond, so now he's not paying the taxes. The homeowners association out there is having some issues, and so we don't know what's gonna happen with that pond. We should probably get in touch with the gentleman that called me this afternoon.
Yeah, if you give me that information, we can do that.
And that's the one, that's that one that's
Oh,
all
right,
that
yeah, no, I know.
prairie
It's-
land.
So, I mean, if we want to take this to committee and let the committee talk about it, and then come back to a future board meeting.
I like that idea.
Okay, so I'll send that to Public Works. Okay? Anything else?
No, whoever's, I don't know who's on that committee.
That's, Kevin Hack is the chairman, Mike, and then trustee Forsythe.
but- So since they're not there, if you guys have any questions, just
What would your recommendation be to do?
I think in a case like this, I would probably go ahead and do the deed, to be honest. Just my opinion, but like I said, I don't think it's a clear answer. I was concerned right from the beginning about setting the precedent, but I didn't know how many other ponds we might have in town existing that might want to come now and say the same
That's something
thing.
I think the
So then
committee
you have
can
to,
talk about.
that's the part I don't know. So I'm saying that without knowing that piece of the answer.
I'd be concerned taking it over now, this cemetery issue that comes up where,
Yeah.
Is there any potential future use for that pond, the one we're talking about?
Well, I don't think there could be because, I mean, it's
Retention.
needed
Right.
for the,
It's just-
yeah.
But if you, could you deepen it and then salvage part of the land or anything like that, or no?
I don't think so. I think you're restricted by what, the outlet is there, so I don't really think there's much of an opportunity there.
So it's dead land?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a question. Last meeting, we talked about trying to find out the cost of a study for
And
the trainings.
I've been talking with Troy,
Okay.
and we're gonna set up a meeting. Robinson has a quiet zone expert,
Yeah.
Okay.
so we're gonna set up a meeting with him.
Perfect.
And in a committee,
Yeah.
and talk about that, and then bring back a report to the board. So I've actually got a list of dates in an email yesterday or this weekend from Troy, so I'll talk with you about that.
Yeah, Jeff Pintar from our office has done a lot of those
Yes.
studies, so I know you guys are gonna set
Yeah.
something up.
Yep. All right. No old business, we'll move on to new business. Item A, pay request, number 1 from Davis Concrete in the amount of $53,117.59 for the 2015 sidewalk replacement project. So in your packets, you have the, you want to go over this, Van, or do you have anything?
Sure. All the work's been completed. Bob has reviewed it, approved it, correct?
Correct.
So all of the work's been completed, including the landscaping. We're holding 5% just to make sure all the landscaping comes in okay, but I think everything's in order.
Questions or discussion from the board? If not, a motion for the pay request number 1 from Davis Concrete in the amount of $53,117.59, which was included in the payables that we earlier looked at. Motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion by trustee March, seconded by trustee Jones.
Mr. March?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Bowden?
Yes.
Item B, ordinance authorizing the approval of a lease purchase agreement with Rush Truck Centers of Illinois, Inc. for the lease purchase of a truck for Public Works Department. Earlier this year, we approved the lease purchase of the truck. They've come back and they have asked, they needed an ordinance adopted, for their records. So this would be ordinance number 15-12.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second?
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, seconded by trustee March, adopting ordinance number 15-12.
So I just had a question.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, the numbers haven't changed at all?
No,
or
just an extra piece of paperwork that they required.
Okay.
Mr. Hupkey?
We want the mayor's vote on this, too.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. March?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Bowden?
Yes.
And President Clark?
Yes. Okay, item C, ordinance, an ordinance amending chapter 117, sections 117.02, .03, and .09 of the Code of Peotone in regard to peddlers and solicitors, adding extended solicitation period for certain categories. This comes back after discussion at the last meeting. Comcast, which is a franchise, we're a franchise, they are our franchise for the cable providers here in town. They had asked for extended solicitation. Currently, we limit solicitation to 3 days. The board directed the attorney to amend the ordinance, and where's the verbiage here?
It's in C. It's 117.02C.
Each license shall be valid for a term of 3 consecutive days, provided, however, that a license may be granted to solicit for television, internet, phone and related services for up to 3 consecutive periods of 30 consecutive days each 30-day period to require and constitute a separate license. Except as provided above, no more than 1 license shall be issued to any individual per calendar year. And like this was in regards to Comcast, what typically they have a 90-day period where they come into a community and solicit for their franchise.
Is there anybody here from Comcast?
No, he called and asked if did we need him here, and I said no.
Okay. Can I make a motion, we approve?
Okay, this would be ordinance number 15-13.
Could I ask a question real fast?
Absolutely.
I thought it was a 130-day.
No, each 30-day, they have to pay the license fee again.
Okay.
That was the discussion that we had had.
Okay.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee March.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. March?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Bowden?
No.
Okay, 3 voting yes, so the mayor does
And
vote no.
yes.
Okay, so then it will pass with the mayor's vote.
Item D, ordinance amending Chapter 95, Section 95.01 of the Code of Peotone in regard to the fee for a commercial amplifier license. This is ordinance number 15-14. Again, after discussion by the board and coming out of the Administrative Oversight Committee, it was decided to change the commercial license fee from $250 a year to $100.
I make a motion, we accept this ordinance, approve this ordinance.
Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, seconded by trustee Bowden to adopt ordinance number 15-14.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Bowden.
Yes.
Mr. March.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Item E, commercial amplifier permit, Fire Pit Bar and Grill. You have before you a commercial amplifier permit request. We have fire pits here. Would you like to say anything? They're asking for a commercial amplifier permit, hours of operation 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Where'd the chief go? But typically, I know we limit outside to 11 p.m.
Yeah, 11 p.m. But it gives like the music people clean up and stuff like
Right.
that.
So there's no issue if we change the hours of operation from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.?
So, no,
That would be my recommendation.
because there's not going to be any music after the.
Right, but we just want to specify, that in the permit. The music has to stop. The music has to stop at 11. Correct.
Okay, got no problem with that. They can't drink on the bar outside after 11, so.
I move that we accept.
Second.
Motion by trustee March, seconded by trustee Bucky.
Thank you.
Mr. March.
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Bowden.
Yes.
Item F, amplifier permit, Peotone Historical Society, Peotone Fall Fest, 427 West Corning. This is this upcoming Sunday, September the 20th, 2015. Anybody here from? I know they are having their festival this Sunday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Typically, it's right in front of the mill, normally just part of the street they come out into.
Half the street,
Which
I
we,
think.
right, exactly.
I move that we accept.
Second.
Motion by trustee March, seconded by trustee Jones.
Mr. March.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Bowden.
Yes.
Donna, again, I just know it's got 250 on the top.
It's a 25, this is
Special
the
event.
special
Same
event.
one. Oh.
See?
Okay, got it.
Special event. Item G, amplifier permit, down in the Southland, Down Syndrome Walk at the park, September the 20th, 2015. Again, this is an amplifier permit, the Peotone Park from 10 to 4 on Sunday. Motion. Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, seconded by trustee Jones.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. March.
Yes.
Mr. Bowden.
Yes.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So, why are they asking for an amplifier permit, and then, like the next one is asking just for a special event permit? I mean,
The special event, the amplifier permit strictly for
sound.
an amplifier. Special event permit is like we're closing a street.
Okay.
I mean, that's what brings it to the board. Actually, the amplifier permits really technically didn't need to come to the board,
Yeah.
but I had Donna put them on the agenda just so we mentioned them in the
Okay.
meeting,
Yeah.
just, for public recognition, basically.
Okay.
Those could have actually been approved administratively.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, special event permit, side-by-side colon cancer fundraiser. Katie,
Yes.
could you step up?
Sure. Hi, I'm Katie Reagan. My family moved back to Peotone in 2003. 2012, my dad was diagnosed with colon cancer. And that's when I started the not-for-profit called Side by Side. So this is our second annual event at the Legion. And we're looking to host the Beanbag Tournament. We're gonna have a live band indoors throughout the day. So it starts at 3, Beanbag Tournament at 4, live band at 7, done by 10.
And the reason we're triggering the special event is because we're closing the street for kids' games.
Kids' games, yep, and maybe some bags. Hopefully we'll have a lot of people, so we'll have to make it to the street for the Beanbag Tournament.
So is the band going to be inside or?
Yes, it's inside the Legion.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Jones, second by trustee March.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. March?
Yes.
Mr. Bowden?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbard?
Yes.
Item I, special event permit, Peotone Farmers Market, 109 East North Street, October the 24th, 2015.
Hello. We just want to extend the farmers market during the community days, October 24th. It would be during the hours of community days from 11 to 4. So we've talked to the majority of the vendors. We have 1 or 2 more, but they're all interested, and hopefully we have good weather.
That's the key. That is the key.
So move.
Second.
Motion by trustee March, seconded by trustee Jones.
Thank you.
Mr. March?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbard?
Yes.
Mr. Bowden?
Yes.
Item J, special event permit, Peotone American Legion, 109 East North Street, salute to our military, October the 3rd.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Sue from the Peotone Legion, one of my veterans, Dave O'Leary. When I put the special permit in, I didn't know I was starting, which is usually what happens to me. So, you'll see that there's some street closures. I may need to ask for a little more because we're getting a huge response for this community event. So, I was looking at Railroad Street from Crawford to North Street, then North Street in front of the Legion, which I think I had down there, and then North Street to Second, heading north in front of the bowling alley. So it'd be just a half of a block type. But I'm thinking we might need to include Second to Main. Is that right? Second, so we take all of Second Street basically,
Okay.
if need be.
And I know that sometimes is a concern, especially in those hours, because we have the restaurant and there's a couple beauty shops
Right.
there. And Saturday afternoons are, they're a busy time. We've already, coming up, and Fall Fest, we're also looking at that street.
Right.
We've approached, those businesses already, and they're okay as long as they have typically some advanced notice.
Okay, and we may not, I'm open for suggestions, you guys have done this more than me, but, if need be, we could even go, instead of going down in front of the businesses, take it all the way down to,
First Street on North Street.
Right.
That's what I was thinking might be.
on game, we just don't know how many military vehicles we're actually going to get.
Right.
Some are a little bit bigger.
Right,
I mean, what about just Railroad Street all the way to Main? You could do that, right?
on the backside.
Back,
That would work too.
That would work too.
As long as, I don't know how we would get to the people in the apartments above to let them know. I'm sure there's a way I could go door to door. Is that listening? Do I need a permit for that?
No, I don't mind North Street though either. North Street from Second Street to First Street.
Block Second Street off at the intersection
Yeah,
and run it straight through.
yeah. Because that would kind of flow.
Yeah, it'd be better to get better exposure.
Yeah.
And if it rains, there's a lot of water that stands.
Yes,
there.
Bob.
Steve, can't we set it up some sort like we do the car cruise, except everything but Main Street?
Right.
Because sometimes we've used that North Street
North
side
Street,
too.
right, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Right.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. We'll have the vehicles, but my main thing I'm trying to think for the businesses on that part of Second Street is we have some booths. So to keep the military vehicles where, it's not blocking as much of the businesses, but bringing people to walk, to view the businesses and see the different booths that we have. And we've also added a reenactment, which we did get permission, a World War II reenactment, small scale. Hopefully next year when we do this, it'll be bigger. And we received permission to use the grassy area downtown. So unless there's other questions, Dave and another one of our veterans is going to be responsible for getting the vehicles where they need to be. So there'll be lots of military eyes and watching. So I don't know if we'll need a permit for the amplifying. I didn't think of that, because I'll just come in, because I've got, the Legacy Girls will be performing a USL site outside, so.
It would probably be a good idea.
Okay, I'll come in and get that done.
And that can be done just in-house.
Where can you purchase the steak fry tickets?
At the Legion.
Just at the Legion?
Yes, the steak fry, everything for Peotone Salute to the Military is free, and then we're just ending with the steak fry at the Legion, which they can purchase tickets ahead of time at the Legion. Kind of end it all, because it's more a community event, more than just a Legion event, but I know I myself, with Adopt a Soldier, have had so much support from this community that it blows me away, and so I think educating them more on, and the children especially, on what was and where we are today and what our veterans do and our soldiers. So that was my idea to make it more of a community event and hopefully something we do every year.
Very good. It's awesome. You guys are doing a great job. I mean,
Trying.
tremendous. Yes.
Couldn't do it without a great community, though.
Absolutely.
I'm an honorary Peotone.
So we're going to do everything here. We're doing North Street from First Street to Railroad Street from North Street to Crawford, and Second Street from North Street to Crawford.
I make a motion, we accept it as stated.
Second. Motion by trustee Hupkey, seconded by trustee March.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. March.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Bowden.
Yes.
Item K, special event permit, Village of Peotone, Peotone Community Fall Fest. Again, another downtown project. This is somewhat similar to Community Day, which was extremely well received. All of the vendors that were there that day expressed an interest in doing something else this fall. So we've reached out to them. Right now we have more vendors signed up than we had previously. And also in conjunction with this, we had talked at the last meeting, doing a trunk or treat in the afternoon also. So the event is from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. with trunk or treat from 2 to 4. Everybody is welcome to participate in the trunk or treat, businesses or individuals, if they want to come down, decorate their vehicle, their trunk, and pass out candy. All of the vendors that are participating are also going to be passing out candy to the kids from 2 to 4. Along with this, on this day, we've got the Old Mill Soccer tournament going on at the park, which brings in 500 kids playing soccer in Peotone. We've spoken with Old Mill. They are going to promote this along with their event and try to direct people, downtown and throughout the community. There's going to be, some other events going on throughout the community that day also, other businesses participating as well. So that'll all be promoted as we go forward. But what I'm asking for is to close Main Street from First to Second, and then also Second Street from Main to North. And as I said, we've already walked and talked to the businesses there, and they're all participating, also. So.
Second.
Motion by trustee March, seconded by trustee Jones.
Mr. March.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Bowden.
Yes.
Item L, special event permit. Peotone High School Student Council requests permission for the annual homecoming parade, October 9th, 2015. In your packet, you have the map for the proposed homecoming parade route. They're going to take off from the high school, come out down Corning to, what is that, Conrad? Yep, Conrad to north to 2nd Street to Main Street, back to 1st Street. West Street, thank you. Jiminy Christmas. And then to Garfield, ending back at the junior high.
So moved. Second.
Motion by trustee March, seconded by trustee Hupkey. Parade will line up at 3:45 and begin at 4 p.m.
Mr. March?
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Item M, Girl Scouts request for permission to canvass the village for the fall product program, October the 1st through the 25th, and the cookie program from January the 1st to the 26th, 2016. We'll hear from the Girl Scouts.
What is the fall product?
That's what I was,
It's like magazines, wrapping paper,
Oh, okay.
things like that. Candles.
Motion we approve.
second.
Second.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, seconded by trustee Jones.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. March?
Yes.
Mr. Bowden?
Yes.
Item N, Halloween trick-or-treat hours in the village. Halloween is Saturday, October the 31st. Fall Fest is one thing, that's a totally separate event. The trunk or treat is kind of a bonus, come and get your candy type thing for the kids. We're still gonna do regular trick-or-treating hours in the village on Halloween itself. It being a Saturday, I was speaking with the chief, and we were considering maybe doing like a 3 to 6 trick-or-treat hours, being that it
Instead of
was.
4 to 7.
Instead of 4 to 7,
Yeah, I
correct.
think that's a good idea.
Visibility is always
Yes.
important.
Yeah.
So any
I mean, I don't
questions or
even-
discussion? If not, a motion to set trick-or-treat hours on Saturday, October 31st from 3 to 6 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Bowden, seconded by trustee Jones.
Mr. Bowden?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. March?
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Item O, Craig's landscaping quote for the Walnut Street Drainage Project. Please.
Earlier in the summer, 2 areas were brought to the village attention. One was Bonnie Lane, which we addressed. The area turned out great. The other one was 500 Walnut. The area is the lowest in the subdivision. Rich contacted me. After the big rains we had early in the summer, went out there, inspected. It holds water, which I can understand that being the low spot. His concern is he doesn't want the water there. I contacted Craig, we went out there, we shot grades to determine the best solution. The best solution is to set a manhole and pipe it over to Howard. And it's not going to be, the fix, it's going to make it better. The water will receive better now, it won't sit there, but it's not a permanent fix.
Yeah, currently, there is no way for the water to recede. It just sits there. And it has sat there most of the summer. When we had some real bad rains, it was within 12 feet of my house. That's how it just filled up the entire property. And it breeds nothing but mosquitoes. They're terrible, and it's just killing everything. I realize that there are some of the restoration costs that are involved into this that are my responsibility, and I'm certainly open to doing that. But something needs to be done with this besides water just sitting there.
And I know that the committee has talked about this on at least, I think, more than one occasion.
Twice, I think.
Twice, yeah. And I know, was Kevin out there with you also?
Kevin's not there.
Yeah.
That water got pretty deep too, didn't it?
Over 3 feet.
And it becomes a
It's a hazard.
hazard, it does.
Can I just say one thing about it?
Yes, please.
Did you talk to Troy about this one?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think he talked to me about it, and just so everybody's clear on the expectations, and you mentioned it, I think putting in something like this because you're limited by the capacity of the system you're tying into, and the capacity of what you're putting in, and I think it's pretty flat. When you talk about how close the water gets to your house, in a 100-year event, it's gonna get that close to your house, because the water can't get away. What this system is gonna do is, it's gonna drain the water away though, instead of it just sitting there until it evaporates or gets into the ground. So at least it allows, once the water in the main system flushes through, at least this is a way to get the water out. So it's certainly, I see a value to it. I just wanna make sure everybody's clear on the expectations. Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
So this would be installing a 4-inch drain tile starting in the backyard of 500 Walnut Street, running south to Howard to the storm sewer, installing a 12-by-12 catch basin, digging a trench at the correct depth for proper water drainage, adding 3/4 clean stone to bottom of the trench covering the drain pipe, tying the drain tile to the street storm drain, and seeding and straw blanketing drainage restoration for a total job cost of $59.50.
Just a quick question?
Yes.
Is there money in the budget for this somewhere?
I believe there is.
Okay. Or we can find it.
We'll find it.
Right. It's,
It hasn't been budgeted for.
right, but it's money that's there that can be used for this project. Who made the motion? I'm sorry. Trustee Jones, seconded by Trustee Hupkey.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Bowden?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item P, hire village administrator, authorize village administrator contract. Over the course of the last 3 months, I guess, we've gone through the process of taking applications and then doing interviews for the village administrator position. And we had initially about 30 applicants that we looked at. We interviewed, I believe, 6, brought 3 back for second interviews, and at this time, we are offering employment to Mr. Greg Spathis. Mr. Spathis was formerly the village administrator in Bourbonnais and also, I believe, in
Richland
Park. So he brings with him considerable experience, and if the board would accept the employment agreement and authorize me to sign it, he will begin work tomorrow.
Motion.
Second.
Motion
Long time waiting.
by Trustee Hupkey, seconded by Trustee Bowden.
He's not gonna start any quicker.
Are we gonna state his salary in here?
We can state,
Effective date?
yes. Effective date is,
Tomorrow, 15.
it's actually made and entered to the 14th day of September is the date in here, so today's date. Salary is $80,000 plus $3,000 salary as the zoning administrator.
The residency.
Residency, the village administrator shall, within 12 months of the date of this agreement, reside within the boundaries of the village.
Okay, so we're putting it down as the 14th and not the 15th.
Correct, that the 14th, it says the 14th in the agreement.
Okay. Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. Bowden?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item Q, allocate dollar amount for community relations and promotions light items for Peotone Community Fall Fest and Christmas in the Village events. Last meeting, or it was, I believe, the last committee of the whole meeting, we had discussed, we have, Trustee Hupkey brought up, we have the $3,000 in the budget for community relations, and we had talked about allocating funds for these upcoming events. What we're looking at is to allocate $1,200 for the Fall Fest. $250 of that would be for advertising, and then the other part of that would be having Jim and Becky Mansell come in to do carriage rides or wagon rides for the people, the kids and so forth downtown for, I believe it's 2 hours, the 2 to 4 hours, the 2 to 4 time slot there, just as an extra event to bring more people, try to bring more people down to the event.
So that'd be during the trunk or treat?
Correct. That's my understanding. That may, the time may change. We're waiting for confirmation back from them, for their time availability.
How much? What do they charge?
It's $950, yes. And then we would be looking at, I would say the $1,800 balance we could allocate to the Christmas in the village. We may not necessarily use that depending on the sponsorships that we get, but that would just give us a starting point for advertising and doing some of the other events that the Christmas Commission is talking about. We've already gotten, our first sponsorship came in the mail today, so those letters just went out, and I'm hoping that will grow, and the more sponsorships we get, the more events that we're going to be able to have. But there's already quite a few things planned, which we'll elaborate on as we go forward. And we're also talking about a lighted Christmas parade. Also, Donna is taking charge.
I want that really bad.
Her and Rich Sheridan from Terry's have jumped on the lighted Christmas parade. So it should be a great event, a great community event. And I just have to say, all of these community events that we've talked about tonight, I think it's fantastic. We just keep the community involved and keep people out in the community. That's going to just better all of us.
I have a question about the carriage rides.
Yes, sir.
Are they being checked for insurance, license?
Yes. Yeah,
and we will have a contract with them,
Yes.
signed contract with them?
Yes.
I move we allocate the funds as
Second.
discussed.
Motion by trustee March, seconded by trustee Hupkey. And they're very well known in the community, so they're reputable.
Mr. March?
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Bowden?
Yes.
Item R, reassignment of committees. I've been asked by the chairman of the Public Works Committee and the chairman of the Building Committee to do a committee reassignment. Trustee Forsythe has not been able to attend committee meetings, and at this time, I would ask to remove him from the Public Works and the Building Committee and appoint Patrick Bowden to the Public Works Committee and Peter March to the Building Committee. So that would be my appointment, and asking for a motion to ratify.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion by trustee Jones, seconded by trustee March.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. March?
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. Bowden?
Yes.
Item S, award 2015 street patching project bid.
On September 10th, bids were open for the 2015 patching program. I think in your packet you have the bid tabulation as well as our recommendation letter. The lowest responsible bidder was Iroquois Paving Corp. Their bid of $47,887 was approximately 16% lower than our estimated construction cost. So we are recommending award of the contract to Iroquois Paving Corp. in the amount of $47,887.
Question. Why the $20,000 spread? Why would somebody have, I mean, deconstruction has a $66,000 bid. and
Go
we
ahead,
have
Bob, I think Bob's got an
I
answer.
can answer that question. Distance, trucking,
$20,000.
absolutely.
Yeah, I asked Bob the
Okay.
same exact question.
I just didn't, you know.
No, I know, that was my initial,
It's exactly what it is. It's
Okay,
trucking.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Will we get any kind of a map that shows where they're gonna do patching?
I thought that went out, I've got it right here. So you want to make,
It's in your packet.
I got a sidewalk.
It's in your packet.
Oh, it is?
is it this one?
Wasn't it last week?
Yeah.
It should look like this.
That was last, we had that last.
Yeah, I think this was
Yeah,
brought
yeah,
to
we have
you,
these in here.
I think it was brought to you before.
That was last.
When you voted to go out for bid,
bid.
I think that's when it came, is what Troy told me, but I can leave this with Donna if you want to make copies.
that's fine.
Okay. I can read you what the locations are.
Wonder if I ran out of paper and it didn't print that on
Do
everybody.
you guys want to know what the locations are? or-
I'd just like to see, well.
We'll make you a copy,
Yeah,
we'll make you a
that's
copy
fine.
after the meeting.
I apologize.
Lovely parting gift.
So a motion to accept the low bid from Iroquois Paving Corporation in the amount of $47,887.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, seconded by trustee Bowden.
Can I say one question?
Yes.
So if this is like $10,000 less than,
We thought, what was in the budget for this? 50,000.
just 50,000, okay.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Bowden.
Yes.
Mr. March.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Questions of the press? Any communications, petitions, correspondences?
I have a question. May not be any of this, but I noticed that we had this small lot that's for sale by Adams Real Estate. It's over here.
Oh, the corner lot?
Yes. Can we show any interest in purchasing that lot for the village purposes? And also with that, trustee March has a follow-up to that question.
Are you talking about the other little lot?
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about selling that lot
Oh, the
behind
lot over by,
Dr. Lowry's office
Yes.
behind there.
so what would that be, as far as us as a village? We own a lot over by the Bennett's property that was, part of that.
Right,
Given.
I know which one you're talking about.
So if we were interested in putting that up for sale, what would the process be for that? I mean, just,
Well, you can do it in a number of different ways. You can do it by sealed bid, you can do it by auction. So it would kind of be up to you on how you would want to.
So if it's sealed bid, then you can reject all the offers? or-
Sure.
Yeah.
We can set it up that way.
and then as far as the other lot goes, it's a vacant lot.
Purchase?
A
Now you're
purchase.
going to purchase. Well, as long as there's a public purpose for it, yes.
Yes. Yes, there is.
Yeah. And
It's
no-
it's green space, in the downtown business district.
Okay.
So we could more or less make it as like a reserved price for selling if you don't meet that reserve price.
Oh, we can set a minimum.
Right,
on the-
that's the
Sure, on the
reserve price.
bid, that's
Yeah.
what we would do. There would be a minimum price. And the minimum price should reflect the fair cash market value.
Right.
Would the Administrative Oversight Committee like to
Oh,
take a look at that and bring back a
Absolutely.
recommendation to the board?
Absolutely.
Okay. We'll put that to your committee.
Speaking of that, what are committee meetings?
Committee meetings, now, that's a question that I have for the board. Committee meetings are the second Wednesday of the month. Now, sometimes there's instances where that second Wednesday is before the first meeting. Would it be better to say the first Wednesday after the first meeting of the month? I mean, would we like to have the committee meeting after the first meeting? Would that make any
Historically,
difference?
what have we done?
Historically, it's the second Wednesday of the month. I mean, that's what it's stated. But like I said, it depends on where the Mondays fall. Sometimes that second Wednesday is before
So
the second Monday.
the
The first Wednesday after the first meeting.
Which should, you need some time also to get things together.
Well, but that's what I'm saying, it doesn't matter. I mean, as long as the chairman of the committees are watching the calendar and know when the meetings, are going to be, so they can establish whether or not, they have an agenda
So,
for a committee meeting,
Something in reference like to this with this lot, 2 days is not gonna be enough time, so we would have to go
Well,
to the next.
meetings always have to, you can have a committee meeting anytime you want to. It doesn't, that is the.
Yes, you can call a committee
Right,
anytime.
but that is the
But it has
set,
to be posted though, doesn't it?
48 hours.
So my point, or what I'm thinking of, and I think Roy is, so if something came up at a board meeting.
Right, exactly.
And we said, man, we can act on
Right.
it on Wednesday, we don't really have enough
So
time.
do you want to, so then would it make more sense for it to be the second Wednesday after the first board meeting? Does that make any sense?
No, it does, it makes sense.
So it would be the first Wednesday after the second board meeting.
No.
No. It'd be the
So I'm
first Wednesday
saying
before the
that
second
tonight's meeting is on the 14th, okay? So the next Wednesday is the 16th, so the next committee date would be the 23rd.
Oh, okay.
See what I'm saying? So that gives you, is that,
Plenty of time.
but
how
is that
about
gonna run into planning and zoning?
Oh, yeah.
That's the fourth Monday.
That's the fourth
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So we're
Okay,
still
so
okay
we're
with
still
that.
okay?
No,
No,
the 23rd is the fourth Wednesday.
okay.
That's when planning and zoning is.
That's what
It's the
planning and
fourth
zoning,
Wednesday.
we're talking about. It would be the Wednesday before for the other.
Right.
Well, okay, let's, instead of getting this totally confusing, right now, we're saying committee meetings are the second Wednesday of the month.
Yes.
So we'll leave it at that.
Yes.
And if the committees, for some reason, don't want to meet on that, we can always cancel that meeting and post another agenda.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right.
We'll leave it as it is.
Carry the one.
I did not mean to confuse, it was just the thought.
You could also say the first meeting before the second meeting.
Yes,
So speaking of committees,
Yes.
we got an email about the police pension fund.
yes.
Is that going to be on the AOC?
I think that was
agenda?
going back to AOC, correct, the police?
That's correct, and we could schedule it for the October meeting.
And Dave Rock was going to
Come to the
present
AOC.
the AOC meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
Only thing we ask that usually with Mr. Rock's schedule, he's not done from work till 7 at night.
Okay.
So if we could schedule that at 7.
But if you want to have an AOC meeting before October, since there wasn't one this month, the initial AOC meeting was canceled. So if you want to establish an AOC meeting before October, you're more than welcome to do that. That's up to the committee members, the chief and Mr. Rock.
Yeah, just let me know when you want to have it so I can give him notice and you can conduct your business. He just won't be able to be here till 7 to discuss the.
So you could do your other agenda items prior to him coming and.
And can I request, and maybe you're doing this already, I don't check the email every day, but do you send out notices that the committees are gonna meet or not gonna meet? That they're, you know what I'm saying?
I was sending the committee package to the committees. I don't think I was sending them to all the trustees, only to the committee members.
Could I request that you send it to everybody? Because I'd
Sure.
like to.
No problem, it's only 2 more clicks.
Yeah, right.
That's fine.
Okay.
That way everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And with an administrator starting here, that's hopefully going to relieve a little bit of, off Donna's plate. And again, I thank Donna and everybody, the entire staff for everything they've done over the last several months. I think it's been pretty seamless,
Yeah.
A lot better than I thought it was going to be. It was kind of scary. But no, staff, everybody, Donna, everybody has just done a tremendous job, and I appreciate it. I know the board does too.
Yes.
Yes.
Can we have a resolution to commend them.
I think I'll put that one in.
We'll take everybody out to lunch.
You know, they say always keep that in reserve for when there's a oops.
A couple other things.
Yes, sir.
Steve, we talked that gravel parkway thing, did you ever?
No, I'll work on that.
Okay. And then we've been talking about all these amplifier permits, and then, like I said, has anybody ever talked to Terry's or?
Yeah, now, do they have outdoor?
Terry says.
And so does Pearl does
Okay.
as well. So.
Okay.
Drolley probably does.
Well, that's why Drolley's has one.
See, the reason I'm asking is because we're making Drolley's pay, but then the other two, I mean, it's not that I don't want to
No, but you want to
nickel and dime, but I want to be fair to everybody.
I didn't know that they had outdoor ones.
Yeah.
See, I hear the Drolley one.
Yeah.
I mean, at my house.
Right.
So I don't hear the Terry's one, and of course I don't hear Pearl because
Right.
that's on the other end of town. But
It's not offensive, but it's just,
For sure.
Fairness.
yeah.
Right.
So, somebody wants to make that,
That's-
administrator.
We'll put that on the
Like
list
Greg
for his first day. At work.
Perfect.
And then a couple other things. I know Dr. March and I were talking the other day about there's several stop signs in town
Yes.
where the branches are kind of growing over them. Ones at First and Corning. And what
Kitty
was-
corner from the bank.
Yeah, I think you got the one down by.
You got
Conrad.
Conrad?
I called you about that one.
Conrad and Crawford.
Okay, the issue with that is when we put the stop sign in, the homeowner planted the tree
Yes.
in front of the stop sign.
That's why I said, there's no way, either the tree's gotta go or
Or
the
we gotta
stop
move the stop sign.
Yeah,
I think we probably moved the stop sign.
yeah.
I don't want to cut a tree down,
No.
but that's, yeah. I mean, is there room to move the stop sign?
It'd be tight. It's on one of those poles though we installed. It's
Oh.
New street sign, so that could
Gotcha.
be
That-
no problem.
Yeah, no. Can the stop sign be taken off that pole and put on a separate stop sign post?
We probably could move it back or kind of fit it in there.
Right.
Yeah. Do something different.
All right, take a look at it. But just kind of, as we're driving through town, you can just take a look. I know there's a few instances where that's happened. Anything else, Dr. March?
Just the meeting time. You know, we meet for the committee of the whole at 6.
Yes.
I mean, is there any reason why we can't have this meeting at 6?
Oh, the second meeting of the month?
Or, I'm sorry, the
Regular board.
the
meeting.
first,
here we go.
no, the first meeting of the month.
The first meeting of the month. The
Yeah.
second meeting of the month is committee of the whole, 7
Yeah.
o'clock board meeting.
Yeah.
That's up to the board.
I mean, I don't know if it's
Or
hard
does that
for
have
people
to-
to.
I had asked
That's
that,
by-
I had
That's by
asked that
ordinance?
during the last administration, and kind of shut down because of people's work schedules, because of, and also, as Don is saying, also because of an ordinance.
Right, the ordinance would just have to be amended.
But you're gonna confuse everybody if the one meeting is at 6 and then the next, second meeting of the month is at 7, unless you're gonna make the committee of the whole meeting at 5.
Yeah.
Just trying to make it easier on myself, remembering which I have to be here at 6 or 7. All right.
All right. We'll leave. Yes, ma'am, a question.
Just while we're talking about the village administrator, can you spell his name
Sure,
for me?
it's
That's anything-
Greg with 2 G's,
Okay.
and the last
3
name,
Gs.
well, 3 G's, G-R-E-G-G, and then it's S-P-A-T-H-I-S. You're welcome. Anything else from any of the trustees? If not, I motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, seconded by trustee Jones.
Mr. Hupkey,
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. March.
Yes.
And Mr. Fowler.
Yes.
Meeting is adjourned.
I can't believe that.
Too bad, huh?
My hand hurts, but I can't believe